of maximize, the potential in outreaching certain target audience that your organization or your work might require for you to reach out to. All of you, I'm sure, have a LinkedIn profile. You have used LinkedIn for your, maybe job search, or you have your own company organization profile page, uh, for networking, have built your connections and all of that. So you must be familiar with a lot of things with LinkedIn, but I'll be adding a few more things that are not, not known to all of us. In our day-to-day regular usage, we might not be using these things. We might not be very aware. So I'll be just, giving you some sort of, things that I've learned over a period of time. As well as then I will be showing you some third-party tools that you can integrate, that you can use LinkedIn with. These are called Linked Helper, and then there are many other sales marketing platforms that I'll also give you a demo on, through which you can kind of unmask certain profiles. You can see the contact details behind those accounts. So things like that. So let me start. Uh, sorry, 1 second. So as you know, I don't need to specifically again mention what a target audience is. All of you have an organization. You are into providing some service or selling some product or creating some content or something like that, which you intend to reach, deliver these services or product to a certain set of people. So target audience is nothing but a set of people where you can group them based on certain common characteristics. These characteristics such as demographics, which would be age, gender, income, or certain their interests, likes, location, where they are from, and things like that. So when you group all of this together, certain traits all together form a certain target audience for you. I'm sure within your organization, depending on your organization or your work, different organizations have different sort of target audience. Usually when it is a non-profit, uh, we there are certain stakeholders that we work with. One stakeholder being the beneficiary group. But since we are all non-profits here, if it's a beneficiary group, the beneficiary might most likely be some sort of people, disadvantaged sections. I'm not saying always, but sometimes that might be the norm, most likely. I'm not sure if your beneficiary groups are the kind of target audience that are available on, on LinkedIn as a platform. But in order to deliver your services, sometimes you need, enablers such as your employees or volunteers or, intermediary organizations. Maybe if children are your end beneficiaries, you might need to reach out to schools, colleges in order to reach out to the final end beneficiaries. Uh, those could be like the secondary sort of audience. Then there is, the third set of stakeholders uh, who enable the whole organization to run, right? Which is typically your donors, CSR organizations or things like that. So usually these are the broadly three stakeholders. When I think of a non-profit organization, these are the broad three stakeholders that we have: the beneficiaries or your core team, which is your employees, volunteers, the enablers, and then finally those who kind of enable the whole organization to work, such as your donors, CSR, etc., etc. So within this, sometimes you might want to reach your end beneficiary, could be a target audience. Sometimes it could be the intermediaries, which could be schools, institutions, or you might need certain professionals. You might need to create a board, so things like the volunteers. Uh, this could be another set of target audience. The third could be you might want to create some sort of retail donors, reach out to a lot of retail donors. Most of you might be depending on institutional donors, but what if you can't always rely on one set of donors? You need to diversify. You need to have different type of donors to enable your organization to be more efficient. So what if you have to find out, donors on LinkedIn? How do you go about doing that, right? Uh, there are a lot of people out there who could be. I'm taking an example as a for this session. I'm taking the example of donors because that's universally applicable for all nonprofits, irrespective of your work, right? All of you run on, unless someone is lucky enough that you have committed donors. Most others require us to reach to different set of donors. Just give me a second. And that's been my more core specific area that I worked on in reaching, in discovering high net worth individuals in this country. So, what are some of the, when you think of donors, uh, can anyone tell or type in chat as to, okay, what are the keywords that you will like immediately, if you're going on to LinkedIn, what are some of the keywords? Just throw in some keywords. What keywords would you be kind of searching for? If it is a donor that you have to search, any ideas? Hey, Dharmraj. Hi. Okay, I don't see anybody chatting or anything. Okay. Yeah, CSR professionals. No, what is a keyword that you will use? Will you type in saying donor, or will you type a particular individual's name? Like, what is that you might be kind of, what is the keyword? Like, if you have to think, I need donors for as a search result to appear in my LinkedIn, right? So if donors are the end results that has to show up, what are some of the keywords? The word donor is the obvious word. Okay, domain leaders. Yeah. Foundations. Okay. Philanthropy. Okay. So these are all good suggestions, uh, right? But when you use the word, let's say, domain leaders, right? Do you think that will that return any results? Do you think the word domain result leaders? I'm taking that as an example. Now you want to kind of search for people on LinkedIn who are potentially donors. But if you search the word domain leaders, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are all donors. Some domain leaders could be donors, but not all domain leaders will be donors, right? So it's a superset that you want to look for. Like the idea that, okay, domain leaders I need to reach out is a fair idea, right? Or this could be like, when I say domain leaders, they could be in the top of their game. They could be like corporate leaders or things like that, right? So potential, they could be real good potential donors. But if you say domain leaders, is the thing is, does anybody writing a profile define themselves as a domain leader? How many people will define themselves as domain leaders? Maybe very few will define themselves as domain leaders, right? So if you said the word leaders, it's a much more comprehensive, broader search, right? People can define themselves as, leader in a sector or something like that. Domain leaders also could be, but again, sorry, did someone say something? I thought I heard somebody ask a question. Sorry. Is someone trying to speak? I can hear something.
So let's all, I think first, one. Oh, Sushant, you just carry on with mute people.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a one keyword, right? Now let's say domain leaders is one set, and there is some other, corporate leader is another word, right? What we usually do is we search one keyword, the results return, we check the results, and then again we go into the search page, and then we again enter another result. So we keep repeating this process. In that process, the results come, then you move on to the next page, the results go away. So it's very cumbersome for you to kind of, really know who these people are. There's no to scroll through each and every of those profiles is like time consuming, and it's not really efficient way to kind of filter out the profiles that the LinkedIn search page returns. So just hold on a second. So LinkedIn is basically used for a lot of things. It's a professional sort of platform for mainly designed for professionals. There are several search categories within LinkedIn. You can use LinkedIn to search people. You can use LinkedIn to search posts, jobs, companies, products, groups, services, events. These are all the categories that you can use LinkedIn to search, right? But I can't walk you through all of these things. What we'll do is we'll only go through the specific category of people. I'll just show you what to do with people. And from there on, I'll and take you through some of these tools that are available. So I'm sure all of you know these things. So this is the basic version which all of us have access to. This is not the paid version, which is a Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is more for lead generation. It has a lot more filters for you to kind of curate a list of people. This one is a very basic sort of search filter. The search algorithm is also much more efficient in Sales Navigator rather than the basic version. Basic version also does return results, but it's not the same. Yeah. So these are the primary filters. Once you select people, you get these sub filters, right? Now, once you, let's say domain leaders is the keyword that you entered, you can select seniority, you can select the degree of connection. First degree is the people that you're directly connected to. Second degree is the friends of friends. Third degree is the friends of friends of friends search. The third place. Then you can use locations, company. These are all the filters that you can use. If you want more filters, then if you click on all filters, that opens up this window on the right side, a tab on the right, and you can kind of see the other filters, which is connections of and few other keywords like first name, last name, and title that you can add and search. So as soon as you put in this, enter the search criteria, and if you want to kind of further sharpen your results. Let's say, domain leaders, don't want domain leaders all across the country. You want only in a specific city where your organization is based out of. So use location or things like that. And then it returns a result. There is something called, usually when we use results, we use, only one keyword is what we use. Just hold on, sorry. And this is Sales Navigator window. Sales Navigator has many extra search criteria or search filters. If you enter these filters, it will ensure that all of these filters are matched, and then it gives you a much more concise and precise list of returns results, which are much more concise and much more detailed. You can filter out a lot of people based on function, years of experience, or company type, industry, and several other things that you can use to kind of filter out. Yeah, so I'm not sure if most of you know search operators. Search operators are simple, but like if you've learned Venn diagrams in college, or sorry, in school, then we all understand what these search operators are. Basically, and or an exclusionary operator called not. So when you use and let's say there are two keywords you want to search, when I say donor, somebody said domain leader, somebody said philanthropy, somebody said, or let's call them donor only. So there are three keywords that I want to search, right? Then what I would do is I would use the or operator, right? So you would put the keyword in quotes, the first keyword in quotes, and then you use or, and then you use the second keyword, and then again you use or, and then you use the third keyword within quotes, right? What it does is within one search, it can match the keyword one, keyword two, or keyword three. It returns results based on the match of any of the three keywords. It can be done in one go rather than you doing it three times and getting three search results and having to go through three separate times. You can use these things. These are more or less similar keywords, right? There could be some overlap where People, some people may call themselves as a philanthropist. Some may define themselves as donors. So when you use both of these keywords and use an OR operator, you get the results of both these sets of people. And is when you want both the conditions to be met, right? I want a grant writer, but they should also have mentioned a non-profit. These both of this criteria has to be met. So what it does is it kind of removes people. If somebody just define themselves as grant writer, it will not return the result. Only when it is written as grant writer and non-profit, only when it finds both of these keywords does it return the results. There are times when you don't want a set of people, right? People can have titles, but they could be interns, right? So when you use not as a function, it removes. It only gives you, if someone has defined intern in their profile, it removes those profiles. So these are some of the things that you can do, which I'm sure you all know. But this makes it life a little bit easier and saves a lot of time for you all. Right? As an example, I've used the AND operator in the search field, if you can see on the top left corner, right? CSR and education. So it returns certain results. Like you all know, how do you kind of further narrow down using these filters? These are some of the filters in the in your regular uh, free version of the LinkedIn account, basic version. I already showed you Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator has all these other extra filters that you can use. Right. So now there are certain ways, right? Like, all of us are non-profits. Every rupee is very important. We got to be efficient. We don't have big budgets. So how do you kind of end up? Just hold on a second. Sales Navigator is there free in free version. Yes, there's only a trial version. Yeah, Hunter.io and all of this will also make life easier. I'm just checking the chat. Sorry. Yeah. If somebody messages, just ping me. Yeah. And yeah. So how do we kind of send messages? So most of us sending a message to first degree connections is easy. These are by default enabled. Anyone can kind of message to your own connections. But if it is beyond your first degree connection, whether you can send or can't send depends on their privacy settings, right? Uh, if they enable their privacy settings, enable us to enable people outside the network to reach out, then you can do that. So when you click on their profile, do check if the message tab is enabled or not. If the message tab is enabled, you can send a message. So that is the best way to send message if someone has enabled. The other thing is mutual connections. Go check your mutual connections. If there is some mutual connection, ask for an intro, and from them, get an introduction, and then you're connected. The third one is contact info. If you click on contact info, some people do leave their email ID or website or some other number or something like that. So you can check that as well. Then there are certain Chrome extensions. Just now someone mentioned Hunter. There are a lot of extensions like that, Apollo, Snow, Lucia, Hunter, and all of this. They give you, there are some free versions. I think some require your company ID. Some don't require. Yeah, some require Chrome extensions. Sorry, what am I saying? Chrome extensions are there, but some with your normal ID you can register an account, but some require you to have a company account, like not at the rate gmail.com, some other domain.com. Then you can also be sneaky and use add a note feature. So when you send a connect, there is an option to kind of add a note, right? So use that very smartly. When you send a connect, don't forget to always add a message, give something, craft a message in a very smart way so that they do accept your connection. Then the other way is like, if they're part of some groups, try to join that group, and groups have this group message feature within LinkedIn. You can also send, once both of them are in the same group, you can also send messages. These are some of the Chrome extensions that are available for all of you. Lucia, Hunter, Snow, Rocket Reach. I haven't used all of them. I only used Snow or you know Apollo. But more or less, these are say lead generation websites. So what they have done is they have curated email IDs from very long. Some have what they do is, let's say there's a company, right? Usually companies have a domain name like Infosys, let's say, @Infosys. So they all follow a certain structure. First name dot last name @Infosys.com. So they kind of figured out, oh, most companies do this thing. There is a syntax that they follow. And if you know the first name or last name, they use the same syntax, all the email IDs @Infosys.com or at Tata.com or whatever company, right? So all the people will have similar first name dot last name or something like that. So in those combinations they have. So some have curated business emails. Some have curated over a period of time through different methods. We kind of give permission to share our contact details with others and things like that, right? So they have curated this huge databases of all the contacts of professionals. So they have these databases. Some what have they done is they've kind of linked a particular LinkedIn profile and their contact details have been kind of mapped in their databases. So if you know LinkedIn profile, you will know their contact details, provided that it is available on their databases. How they discovered is different thing, but if they are there in their databases, then it shows you their contact details. That's another way to kind of look through Chrome extensions. So I'll just give you a quick demo. So I've already installed a Chrome extension here. This is LinkedIn Prospect Finder. Just give me a second. So let's say I will take some name. I don't know. So this is a profile I'm taking, Rajesh Tiwari. I don't know this person. So just go to this LinkedIn profile. I've already installed this extension on my browser. Click on this and it will give you the details of this person. Right? If you go to list, so it is searching for emails. If there is an email, it will give you the email details. If there is no email, then it won't return any results. So that's taking time and just wanted to show you this thing. Okay, so installing it is very easy. You go onto the website, you will find something called as LinkedIn Prospect Finder. Go there and just click on this install and it will install a Chrome extension. I just gave you a demo on how to kind of go to the discover a particular contact details of a particular profile. But remember, there are limits. All these platforms have certain limits. Some provide tens or 20 or in a month and things like that. So be very careful when you use that. Be very smart. Like until and unless you know that this is a very important lead that I want, don't simply use it. So this is another platform called Snow.io. The reason I picked this is there is some integration with another tool that I'll be just discussing in some time, right? So again, these have certain filters. You just enter the filters and you search for it. You get the name, first name, last name, and just like this, job title, company, and all of this. The free versions have certain limits, but if you have a paid version, it gives you a much more, depending on the number of credits that you have. Each platform has its own mechanism as to how many profiles you can kind of visit and see the contact details. So you go on the back end and you kind of enter these filters. It will simply return a result. So it's very simple, just selecting those filters, whatever you want, and doing a search, and then you have the names. But the difference is that you don't have any insights there. At the most, you might know a company name, you might know a title, but you don't know what are his interests. You don't know whether this person has done something, what is he talking about, and things like that are not, you can't discover those. Whereas when you use LinkedIn account, oh, when you get certain profiles, they have described much more in detail, right? They, you know, the company name, you know, the location, you know, their headline, how they have defined themselves, you know, the title, which schools did they study, where was their education, and all of this also you can know on LinkedIn. Whereas here you won't be able to know all of that. You'll only simply know few 4 or 5 filters is all that you will have. That's the difference. If you use Sales Navigator, then there are many more filters that you can apply and kind of, you know, get a much more curated, sharp curated list from Sales Navigator. That's another way to generate leads. So on the back end, whether it is Apollo or Snow, you know, these are all almost very similar. Some are good for, you know, company leads, corporate leads. Some are good for LinkedIn. Each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. If you can just go and do some research, then you will understand that. So the main thing that I wanted to demonstrate today is a platform called Linked Helper. So Linked Helper is it has got nothing to do with LinkedIn. It's a third-party tool. It's a desktop application that you have to download and save it on your laptop and run it on your laptop. What it essentially does is it automates lot of functions, associated with LinkedIn. So let's say now you entered certain search results, and the search results have returned some, you know, each you have pagination in the search result, right? Like there are 10 profiles or 10 posts that are that you can see in one page one, let's say. So it returned like 100 pages, let's say. That's 10 into 100. That is 1,000 profiles, right? Now, how do you kind of, it is not literally possible to kind of go through 1,000 profiles. Like, you know, you'll scroll, see each one of those. It's a very time consuming process and doesn't make sense for you to kind of, you know, go through 1,000 profiles. It's not it's a very inefficient way of doing that thing, right? But imagine what if there is a way where you can kind of download all of the data into a spreadsheet, right? The LinkedIn URL is available, their contact names are available, their company name is available, okay, their headline is available of how they define themselves, title is available. So these basic details are available and it is all in a spreadsheet. Now that kind of changes a lot, right? Once data comes onto the spreadsheet, you can simply apply a filter. I can kind of remove based on location. I can remove certain profiles based on certain keywords. If let's say somebody has entered a word called intern, like, you know, I can simply put a filter, exclude all of those with the keyword intern, right? You can highlight it, you can delete those profiles. You can kind of put certain, title keywords like, you know, managers, or you can just enable filter and you can see which are the keywords that you want and which are some of the words, you know, that do not fit for your criteria. You can remove those. So all of a sudden, once you have LinkedIn, all this data scraped and put it into a spreadsheet, now you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of analysis on data once it's on spreadsheet, right? Now with AI, I think it can also kind of, you can give it the data and it can also throw back some results. You can give it some criteria and it can also kind of return some results. I have not used it to that extent, but I'm just giving you a suggestion. But even if you know how to use a basic spreadsheet, like a lot can be done even with applying basic filters and having an idea of how to go about it. So once you download, install this on your laptops, right? There is an option called add account. I will take you through the platform right now. So once you install, this is how it shows. Right now, you already see an account here. This has a free license validity for 30 days or 14 days. I'm not really sure. This is a special circumstances where it is showing 14 days, but I think it's 30 days. So once you install it, this is the window that will open. So once it is open, you go to the add account feature here, click on this add account, enter your LinkedIn account details here. Okay. When you enter your email and password and just save it here. Okay. Add at the bottom here. Once you add it, this is how it will show up. Right. So having added it, now I want to kind of open this one. This is already open. That's why it's saying stop. But when you, there's a green color play button. When you click that, yeah, when you click that, another window opens. This is the window that will open. Your LinkedIn account will open inside this application. Okay. So what has happened is you have entered it and the system automatically enters. Once you save the password and all of that, it almost kind of does it like a human being is typing, right? It imitates a human's actions. It enters the email ID, it enters the password, and it kind of logs in from this portal. This is not a fully legal platform. It is a gray sort of thing. A lot of people can write any Python script, and scraping is very common across, websites and all of that. But they have automated all of these functions. So, like I said, this application can automate a lot of things. Okay. Now, once you log in, this is the account that will open up. Sorry. Okay. So, I want to run a campaign now. I want to automate certain functions that this platform enables me to do. Okay. Some of these platforms, sorry, the kind of automation that this tool can do is like it can extract profile information. I'll only go through this one. Okay. But it can do a lot more things. If you give it a list of people, it can automatically send connect request to all of them. Okay. If you give it a list of people within your network, it can, and you draft a message, it can automate that message. It can also customize that message based on certain criteria, and it can keep on sending those messages to all the people in your network. So what it does is also it runs in the background. So once you kind of set up this campaign and you run it and you just forget it, that's it. It will automatically automate all those, whatever campaign that you're running. Okay. It can be used for various of these things, which you can find here. If you can read this, go through this, you can find all of these things. So, but I'll be only walking you through this export profile information, more or less. Others are also a little bit similar, but we won't have the time to, take you through all of those things. So export profile information, why you need to export profile information? For example, let's say I just a while ago, I showed you platforms like Apollo and Snow and all of that, right? So LinkedIn, as a first step, when you went through LinkedIn and you kind of, used certain keywords and you got certain search results, right? Just as a demo, I'll just quickly walk you through that. Okay, I'm selecting this extract profile information. Okay. Yeah. So once I've created a campaign and I said extract profile information, now you can extract, where will you extract from, right? Within LinkedIn, you can extract from a search page, right? You have your own network page. There is a school alumni page. There is an event page, company page and things like that, right? So from any of these pages, it can extract, the profiles. But if you have a sales navigator, it can also extract all the details from a sales navigator page as well. Right now, I'll just use the search page. Okay. But also remember, you can see something called upload profile URLs here. Just remember this at a later point of time. So I'll just go to the search page, right? So I already logged into LinkedIn. It comes to the search page. Okay. So I am searching something called, sorry. Okay. So it has returned certain results. So let's see how many results we got. 100 pages it's showing, right? It could be more than 100, it could be less than 100, but at least 100. So these are a lot of people, right? I can't literally go through each of this. So now what do? One way is to do this manually, go one page, page two, page three, okay? And different people are like, let's say someone is yoga, as you can see here, right? Somebody is a life coach. So your target audience, while they're all domain leaders or corporate leaders, but you might have a specific criteria, right? And there are no other filters for you to kind of, remove that. Maybe you can like filter more by using location or, sorry, right? Location or current company, industry and all. Yeah, industry. So maybe you can use these filters to further narrow it. If you want to narrow it, if you don't want to narrow it, let's leave it like this. Okay. Now the search page has come. Now the first step you have to do is, I'm sorry, I'll just take you back. So if you see here, the first step is to fill profiles, right? You have to add profiles to process. This is the first step that you have to do. Then the second step is like it'll automatically visit and extract profiles, and then it'll find profile emails. So the first step is this, like you go to the search page, you come here and you profiles to fill. So you have to add profiles in this from the current page. So what it does is it automatically scrapes through all this data from this current page. Okay. This is a time consuming thing. So I won't, so if you can see here, it's already saying 10 of 1000 collected. Okay. I'll stop the execution here just because we won't have time. Okay. Once profiles have been processed, you can see the profiles here like this. Can you see it already scraped 10 profiles from here? Okay, it scraped this data. Now what you can do is you can download this data. Sorry. So there is an option here. You can go here and download here. So it automatically downloads as a CSV file. Okay, I will just open the sample file for you guys. Okay, you can see the data that it has scraped here. Okay, you got the profile URLs here. You get the first name, last name. Okay, the headline, the location name. So at a first level, when it scrapes from the search result page, it only scrapes this amount of data. But this amount of data is also very useful. How is it useful? Simply go back to platforms like this. Right? So you have options like this. Okay. There is something called social URL search for Snowvio. There is also something called as import contacts. Now, as soon as you got that page, which you kind of download on the CSV file, go to that CSV file, filter out all the profiles which you want. Now that you have all the data that you scrape from LinkedIn in a spreadsheet format, remove what you don't want, keep those you want. Now you got all the LinkedIn URLs, right? Simply upload that file on either of these platforms. Okay, you upload and start search, it will give you the results. It will simply give you the email IDs. So in one go, you get like 400, 500. In a day, you can scrape like 1000 profiles easily. So even if you have scraped and let's say you did it and you uploaded into this platform, depending on the, whether it is a freemium version or a premium version that you have, if you have a premium version, great. It solves your problem in no time. That's it. You're done. You got all the profiles and now you got all the contact details of these profiles as well. So this is the first level of data that it scrapes in this campaign, right? So once you've done that, then you can start campaign. When you start campaign, what it does is it scrapes much more data on each and every other profile. Okay. So after you run this campaign, it will give you the much more detailed level of data. So, but let's say when you now in the initial step, you downloaded 100 profiles, right? Then you kind of deleted, let's say 50, 60 profiles you deleted. Okay, now you are left with 40 profiles. Okay, now you only want to scrape the further level of data, like their education details, their current company, past company, all of that. If you want to scrape, what you have to do is once you kind of cleaned up that data, save that file, re-upload that file again here. When you started the campaign, there was an option, right? We did it from current page. I can choose another source. Now what I'll do is I'll delete all of this. Okay. But I don't want this 10. Now let's assume that we've downloaded 100, then you kind of cleaned up all the data. Now you want to re-upload. Okay. If you go here, upload profiles URL, and you can select file and import, the cleaned up sheet can be uploaded here. Okay. Once you upload here, instead of the 10 profiles that it scraped, whatever you left in that spreadsheet, only those profiles it will show up here. Then the next step is for you to run the campaign. Okay, when you start campaign, now what it does is it will scrape through all the other level of data that I kind of told you, right? I'll show you this data that it scrapes. So I'm just giving an example. If you saw the first level, it was some data. The second level kind of scrapes profile URL. It also scrapes email, provided that the email is public or any other contact details that are public, it will scrape those. It will give you the headline, it will give you, the summary of their profiles, it will give you their birthdays, it will give you, if they have address, it will give you current company, past company, okay, your position, okay, industry, organization name, organization contact details, okay, years in which they started working. So this level of data is very, very, very useful. Now, what you do with data depends on you. Okay, how you what logic do you find to kind of narrow down your target audience? That is a very different thought process altogether. Mostly data these days is easy to scrape and find. But what sort of insights do you derive from that data is something that your work should be able to tell you. Depending on what your organization is. Let's say you're into tech or education. Okay, you found some donors. You know that he's a donor because of his written in his headline that he's a philanthropist. But not every philanthropist will support that cause area, right? You also want to know that he whether he's supporting this particular cause area or not. So you want to see a little bit, see if he has made any posts or if there is any keyword that matches, like education. Does he talk? Is he interested in education, or has he worked in has he supported any organization that is part of education, ed tech? So you'll look for those keywords. When those both match, then not only is a philanthropist, but is also interested in like education as a cause area. So this might be a much more much more relevant lead for you to kind of reach out to than simply reaching out to every philanthropist, right? So that's how you kind of narrow down your search results and make your narrow down your target audience. And the you don't want to target it too much also, in my experience. So when you narrow it down too much also, what happens is usually the conversion is very low, right? Let's say you found 100 leads, maybe the conversion as a market industry standard 2%, 5%, 10%, let's say. So if you narrow it too much also, sometimes you might not get the best results. So you got to be a little bit flexible. Don't make it too broad that you have to write down and spam everybody. That doesn't work. Or don't make it too short. So just go in batches, right? First pick some 10 people you think are first priority. Then pick the second 10 list or 20 people you think are second priority, right? So have a strategy for each of these people, what sort of communication you will kind of write, what emails you'll write, what is the pitch that you will have. So have different strategies for a different set of people and kind of reach out. But always remember, like if there is, rather than cold mails or something like that, if someone can make an introduction, someone can give you introduce you to or your organization to those people, that might give you the best results. So always look for common connections, mutual connections, and things like that. So this is the way that you can narrow down your profiles using LinkedIn. Sorry, I'm a little bit lost. Yeah. So these are the details that you will get, and this is the whole process that you follow to kind of, from thousands of search results that you kind of find on LinkedIn, how do you kind of narrow down to a set of individuals or set of lists that is much more relevant for your targeting, for your own purposes, whether it is for your organizational use or personal use. So this is how you do it. Thank you. If you have any questions, I will be taking them. Harini? Oh, sorry, Harshini. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're audible. I have a few questions that I've taken from chat.
Okay,
So,
Biplav,
yeah, now is it better?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's go with the first person, Shoaib. He's raised his hand. You can unmute
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah, yeah,
Shoaib.
yeah. Yeah, sure. Where is the question?
He raised his hand.
I was not able to unmute myself because there were some settings.
Okay, okay.
So I wanted to know, because you also mentioned if use one scraping, the profile information is scraped mostly, right?
Yeah.
Is what they also post is also scraped, or what?
Sorry?
What the posts they also make on LinkedIn, are they also scraped?
I don't think posts are scrapable. Post is not scrapable.
So once you mentioned that if they have made some post on or donated somewhere, how would one find that information there?
That is a little bit difficult. Like, what I would look at is, because it also gives you the summary, right? Profile summary and all of that. Sometimes you might find such details in this profile summary. Post, let me check. I'm not sure if post has a, just let's see. I can't see anything on post here.
Okay. Fair
These
enough.
are these templates, whatever you see here are the only things that you can kind of automate.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
One last thing also. So please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sorry, come again.
Nee, please matlab, answer that part, and then I'll have a follow-up question.
Yeah, that's all. Like, these are the only predefined templates that are available. These are the only actions that you can automate.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Last thing would be these, because it is slightly a gray area.
Yeah.
LinkedIn might also penalize the account. So is it is it advisable to create another account and use that instead of using your own account to do that?
New accounts, I think LinkedIn also sees, if you're a very new account, it kind of doesn't allow you to send too many connections. If the other account is like a little bit old, it works.
Yeah, I'm only looking from the perspective. I would use that account to scrape data and then use whatever
In fact,
data
if it is a new
available.
account, the risks are even more. Like, I mean, your own account is safe, but LinkedIn kind of suspects that this account has been created only for this purpose sorts.
Okay, and then what kind of penalty do they levy if they levy on the
They
profile?
give you a warning that we've noticed some of this, they kind of give you a warning.
Okay.
But usually what happens is there are some predefined settings in this. Okay. So for example, it does, if you see here on the left side, can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It only does 150 actions in a day.
Okay.
Okay. For example, in the search results, when it is scraping, it will scrape a lot of profiles, the
Got
first
it.
level of data. Okay, that is not a problem. But when you have to go into each profile and kind of scrape all of that details, it only
Yeah.
does 150 actions. For you
Okay.
to kind of reduce the chances of getting penalized and all of that, for example, don't do it in the night. Do it usually in the work hours that you usually use your LinkedIn account. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Try and kind of, there are some other settings also you can kind of tweak the settings also. You can set up the timings. If you see your working hours, can you see the left
Yeah.
side?
Yeah.
So you can set up all these limits. Okay.
I
You
got
can
it.
select which are the working hours that you want to work. So just do it 2 hours in a day or something like that, right?
Got it.
So usually, as long as you're not using it every day to scrape like thousands in one go, you're safe.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Any other questions? Was this useful to you guys? Like, I don't know if you might already know, some of you might have already used this. I'm not sure. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, Sushant. So I found a
One
few on
second.
chat. So Muskan has asked, what is a Chrome extension and how does it actually help?
So Chrome extension is a simple application that is integrated on the browser. Like if you're using Chrome, it has something called as extensions. You can see here, right? So Chrome has many extensions. So I will type Apollo. Okay. It's not, you don't need to log into the website to kind of do a function. Okay. It's not giving me any results. Oh, maybe it is only searching which are already installed. 1 second.
Sushant, before we
Yeah.
go ahead, I'm just launching the poll while you do your search. Participants, please fill in this poll.
So if you see extensions, there are a lot of extensions that are available. Extensions are not like a full-fledged versions, but there are short versions of the applications. Usually, like I gave you a demo right now, you can just click on that extension and once you go on LinkedIn profile and select the, excuse me, select, excuse me. In the meanwhile, you can take the,
Hi, the poll has been launched. Please go ahead and answer them.
yeah, I'll wait for people to kind of finish the poll.
Let's wait until 5:05. Is it okay?
Okay. Excuse me, sorry.
Please have some water.
Yeah, I did.
Sushant, while we wait for people to ask questions, I have put in the feedback. I have a question. Who
Yeah.
should use these tools? Like, do you think that an organization's CEO using these tools, or a partnerships person, or a new associate or an intern using it will have same results or same impact, or it will be different?
It will have the same, I don't know how, if LinkedIn kind of ranks our profiles, if the search results are the same, if I enter a keyword and you entered a keyword, Whether the search results will remain the same is something that I don't know. By what criteria does it rank the profiles in the search result that it shows me versus someone else? Is it the strength of connections that you have? Meaning, it might say, oh, this guy has a lot of important profiles, so I'll rank him better, so I'll give him these results. So I'm not really sure how it does it. We have to test it, honestly. That's the only difference. But otherwise, the search results, largely depend on the kind of keywords that you use, how you kind of apply logic, what is the purpose that you want to search for. So someone who understands the organization and organization work, let's say it's a particular service, your target audience very clearly. These are the set of people that I want. You have much more insights. You have, your customer persona or things like that. Those people can kind of might be able to do a better job than people who don't know the work. They might randomly be, searching by random keywords. That might not give you best results. So if you know your product or service, if you know your work, if you know your audience, you might do a better job.
Shashank, there's a question from one of the participants, Muskan.
Yeah, sorry.
Individuals like me who don't use LinkedIn frequently, what tools will help me to be more active on LinkedIn?
Oh, tools to be active on LinkedIn. I have no answer for that other than you going regularly and logging into your LinkedIn and posting yourself. I don't know if I don't know if posts can be automated. Like, yeah, you can automate likes and all of that using the same application. So if you go here, I think so. If you see here, like and comment on posts and articles, right? There is this thing. So you can use this template. What it does is it will automatically keep liking profiles. Okay, I have never used this feature, but that's a good question that you asked. So there are different templates in this. So it will automatically kind of do that. So that will, at least, even though you're not writing some post, you're constantly engaging by liking and liking articles or posts. So that can kind of make your account more active. But always be careful, like I discussed earlier. Don't overdo this thing and don't misuse this at the risk of blocking your own profile.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Sushant, I had another question.
Yeah.
Are there any YouTube videos available where I am able to understand, let's say, what each aspect of linked helper does?
Yeah. So there is within here you have video tutorials. Can you see here?
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Knowledge base and video tutorial. You can go there.
Okay.
Earlier, these always were not there when I initially used to use this. But now the platform has become much more easier, like very user friendly. The
Okay.
initial stages was very bad.
Great. Thank you so much. This helps a lot.
Okay. So all of these have knowledge base these days. Huh? There are in all of these platforms that I showed you, there is something called knowledge base. Just go and search. Now almost all websites have a knowledge base that can kind of give it. But the thing is, things change so fast that sometimes they release the updates and these are not even updated. The knowledge interface is not updated sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? So what I did, like, I'll just give you an example of how, I could kind of reach out to more people, right? So what I did is like I automated sending out messages about, my organization or the cause that I was like looking, uh, you know, asking people to kind of take a pledge on and giving away half their net worth. So the thing is that, like, look, if I send this message, I knew that it was not impactful, like, because I'm a stranger to many people and I'm asking something so personal. It's so hard to convince people to kind of give away, right? But in our own data the initial set of people that I had that we kind of onboarded, what we realized that all of these connections were only coming through some within our networks. So let's say initially we had 1% or 5%. Within their networks, these people were the other kind of philanthropists were signing up for our cause. So that was an important insight that I found. Oh, like there seems to be something to do with the network. If a person who's already signed up asks another person to sign up to give away their wealth, they might be convinced. But as a random thing, like we tried we tried running ads, we did PR, we did news articles and things like that. Even those didn't give us any results. Whereas when people the message went from people and they kind of spoke about the cause, then there was much more sudden interest, inquiries as to, okay, what is this and things like that. So I realized that then what we did is we took the login credentials of a lot of people and then we automated sending messages from their accounts. That kind of gave us a large and usually who are your immediate networks? If you have a certain profile, right? Like if you're from non-profit, you're more likely to have your social connections are most likely to remain in that sort of people. So if you're a high net worth individual, then you're most likely to have connections who are such people, right? That's the nature of society, how we function. So that was something that I did and I could kind of find this extremely useful. Just giving you some thought process behind how you can kind of use this.
Any more questions, please?
So also, let's say if you're sending automated messages, don't make it too obvious for people like, oh, somebody, this looks like a bot send message, right? So ensure that it doesn't look like a bot message. So some people are very smart. What they do is they write first name as initials, like they'll say BK. Let's say rather than writing Kodala Sushant, I'll write KS Sushant or something like that. So if you are using automating a message and there is something called insert field, first name, first name, last name, you can insert field to personalize the message. So what it says is dear SK, it will write because that's the field that it is taking from the spreadsheet. So you got to be very cautious as to when you're uploading the profile, you have to see what is the name, because it doesn't know that it is not a name, right? So whatever is the text field, whatever is the text that is there, it'll just simply scrape that and write that as a name. So just be a little bit careful when you send this message, and also draft the message in such a way that it doesn't look like this is a marketing mail like all other messages that you're getting.
Shashank, we have another question. If you could summarize the whole session in 5 pointers, what will it be?
What do you?
Hello, hello, Shashank sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that answer, just I have some question. Can I speak?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, basically the title which I saw from the message from various groups, fueling your mission with LinkedIn outreach strategies.
Yeah.
So that is the title we have given. I have been attracted.
Yeah.
So when I gone to, because I joined late 10 minutes, maybe something happened, but still I have been covering all the information and observed and your conversation and explaining to the audience. So what are the strategies for outreaching? What are the plans are we evolving to communicate to the people? I didn't find that answer. And moreover, when you are explaining to the like me, you don't have much time. I didn't experience it on that domain, and then you have to be experienced and gain the knowledge. So in this type of communication, where we be able to understand, where we able to understand and practice it further. So at least my submission is that whatever you are going to take 30 minutes session from zero to certain level, that is the first phase. That will be very clear for us. I come to know that one, I have to be such that as you mentioned that once we download the linkedinhelper.com that app and then go for the tutorials, then we may understood properly. It's a 1 minute message for entire group. So I would like to know from your side of perspective, what are the outreach strategies are we learned from this session? That's
so I explained in the beginning, how you kind of figure out your target audience, right? Now I can't decide what your target audience is for you. Each organization has its own services that you provide. So you decide what your target audience is. As an example, I just used donors as a example, and I gave an example on donors. How do you kind of look for if donors are your target audience? We selected that as an example, and then I kind of explained all that process. So
Okay.
I don't know what your target audience is. The outreach strategies, I'm just showing you how to outreach, right? Now the messaging and all, I can't explain what sort of messages do you need to write, how do you need to craft those messages and all of that. So what I'm telling you is how do you kind of identify a particular target audience that is relevant to your organization, whether it is a service or product or whatever you do. That's something that you have to have an idea. And also I don't know who was going to come onto this session. What is the level of how proficient you are, whether all of you have used or not used. So it's not really easy for us to kind of
Yeah, got it. Got it. Thank you. You focused on the donor perspective, then for that we have been explained. Okay,
yeah,
nice. Thank you so much.
yeah. Okay.
Can we all here in the chat box share our LinkedIn profile so that we can also connect on the LinkedIn?
Sorry, come again.
I
Sorry.
said, can we all share our LinkedIn profile, like link in the chat box so that we all can also connect with each other?
Okay. Harshni, you
So, Sushant, I guess everyone's done with their
yeah.
questions.
Okay.
So, first, thank you so much. Okay, it was like actually a big thank you. It was super helpful and honestly, like, really practical, at least for a person like me who's used LinkedIn only for, searching jobs. That was the main thing, right? And you made it feel less overwhelming. And the way you broke down the tools, like say Sales Navigator or Apollo, these are the tools I'm hearing it for the first time. And I'm pretty sure a few of the participants here were the same. So we are definitely walking away with a bunch of ideas and we are excited to try it out, especially when, finding the right connects, which is the whole point of LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and all the tips that you actually very generously gave.
Thank you all for attending this session on a Friday weekend. I know it's Friday and all of you have other plans, but thank you for giving me the opportunity, both IWT and all the people. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can take my email ID from Harshini and or I can leave my email ID here in the chat.
We could also scrape your look.
So that also you can do. That's all. Anything else?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Harshini,
thank you.
what do you? Okay.